Hey guys, Steven here with another completion video, this time in Until Dawn. Now when this game initially came out, I didn't have a PlayStation, but I was a big fan of the Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure books, so my interest was piqued. Not to mention the star-studded cast that all acted out the game in full motion capture. I'm sure that most everybody is familiar with these types of games, as Supermassive has continued releasing games like this with the Dark Pictures anthology. And there have also been some from other developers like what Quantum Dream has done with Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human. Games like these all use something called the butterfly effect, where the stories branch out and out depending on what decisions you make in-game until you reach the ending that your decisions led to. That all said, I'll move on and talk about getting all of the trophies in Until Dawn. That rhymed. So when I came back to complete the game, it had been a bit since I played. When I first got it, I played through it and then moved on to another game, but I thought in the first playthrough I only lost Chris because I fucked up the running in the woods part and got his head chopped. Anyway, when I came back to it, I just started a new game and did a natural playthrough. I wasn't going for any trophies or anything like that. I didn't even know what I still needed at this point, honestly. I just wanted to get a feel for the game again so I could have my training wheels off when it was trophy time. I think the playthrough went pretty well overall. I did end up losing Matt because at the time I didn't know the flare would save him and did the stupid move of giving it to Emily. By the way, playing this again reignited my hatred for her. She is so self-centered and mean to everybody else, including the person she is supposed to be in a relationship with. Anyway, I also lost Josh because at this point I didn't know that the collectibles could keep him from getting his head crushed here. At the end of the playthrough, I got the trophy for all of the girls surviving, which brought up some questions about my first playthrough. But then when I got the trophy to keep Jessica alive, my questions were answered. I guess she didn't live through my original playthrough after all. Alright, so with that playthrough wrapped, I was ready to get into the big one. That's right, next was going to be my all collectibles Everybody Lives run. I know there are purists out there who would never touch a guide for a game, but I'm not one of those people. And if you're subscribed to my channel, then I'd probably assume you fall into my category. But the reason I bring this up is to make the point that using a guide in a game like this takes all of the horror out of it. When I was playing this run, I had guides open the whole time, because I was not going to fuck up and have to reload hours of gameplay. The game is fun and it looks pretty, but I'm just not doing it. And on top of my goal of getting collectibles, it was mixed with being familiar with the game from 2 playthroughs, and it created this attitude of get out of the way scary thing, I have totems to collect. Not trying to say this took away from the fun of the game, but I do find it silly how I went about things. Also, regarding this run, I have a video on my channel that shows how to keep everybody alive, and that also involves collecting all of the clues related to the twins. So 2 trophies for 1. If you're looking for a bargain, I'll have the video linked in the description. Keeping everybody alive was surprisingly the easiest part of the run. The main thing to look out for is quick time events. If you're good at those, then you just need to know the right path to take to keep everybody alive, the things to do, the things not to do, and it's not that hard. So in finishing that run, it was a huge weight off my shoulders when it comes to the completion. And I only had a couple of trophies left that related to different pathways this butterfly story could take. The first was Fatal Grudge, and this one involves Chris and Ashley. In the section where the 2 of them are tied up and Chris has the option to shoot himself or Ashley, to get the trophy, shoot Ashley. And anyone who's played the game knows this whole thing is bullshit and is all set up by Josh, so the gun is full of blanks and Ashley survives. But she remembers Chris's choice when he's running for his life and tries to get into the house. Next one I went for was Instant Inferno, so I loaded up the very last level. This one's pretty simple, though it comes from a choice that most people probably wouldn't make. In the very last section, when the idea pops in Mike's head to blow up the estate, you'll come to a point where he cracks the bulb, exposing a light to the leaking gas. Sam is given an option here, and if you decide to run for it, she bolts for the door, hitting the switch on the way out and incinerating everything inside, including her friends. The next trophy was a very special one for me, and I wish it's one I could have saved for the very last, but considering the ones that were left, it made sense to do this one next, and my efficiency is more powerful than my pettiness. The trophy is The Exorcism of Emily, and it's to kill Emily. You know, the one who was starting shit from the very beginning.
Matt, I need my bag.
The one who constantly thought everything was about her. The one who berated people trying to help her?
Let me think!
Don't think, you idiot! Just get me out of here!
I didn't hesitate.
Holy shit, Mike! Shit. We've got to get to Mike. Like now.
And with that, the demon was exorcised, and I was on to my last couple of trophies. The first one is you let the wrong one in, and it involves someone coming down to this hatch and opening it. I say someone because I think this can be one of two people here, but you can get the trophy controlling either. Anyway, in this tunnel section, branch off from the group to investigate the sound that you heard. Then further ignore your survival instincts to open this hatch that something is beating on with a clearly abnormal strength. If you do that, the inevitable happens, and whoever you're controlling at this point dies, and the trophy should unlock. And the very last trophy I had, in theme with the game, involved more death, and it was for nobody to survive. So to make sure that nobody makes it out alive, you really only need to focus on two people, that being Matt and Jessica. Towards the beginning of the game, you want to make sure that Mike fails all of the QTEs when he's trying to run after Jessica after she's been taken, and this will guarantee that she's dead when he gets to her. And then later on, Matt will fall into the mines, but you can make sure he dies by giving the flare gun to Emily or just not finding it at all. The reason you need to focus on these two is because if they survive, they will end the game in the mines, so they don't come back to the house with everybody else. And this is important because everybody who comes back to the house can get blown up in one fell swoop. If you fail the first stay still section with Sam, then no one is able to escape before the house goes up in flames, and this will kill anybody that remains. Alright. I'll be honest, I didn't want to take any risks. By the time I got back to the house, I actually only had Sam and Mike left alive. Everybody else I had purposely messed up and got them killed. They can all die here, but that's just the way I wanted to go about it. Once that happens, I got the trophy for This Is the End, and immediately after that, the Platinum, A Symphony of Horror. This game was definitely interesting to complete. After playing through it enough times, the horror element really isn't there, and you're just doing what you have to get the next trophy. I would say overall, it's very satisfying to see all of the things that could happen, and I would like to do the same in other games like this. One day I dream to complete the entire Dark Pictures anthology, but I've got some work ahead of me. But anyway, I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or anything to say about the game, feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, if you ever find yourself in a life-threatening situation, just press triangle.